because we can't do anything invasive. I've helped rotate, what my daily head moving in that direction, because she doesn't, what else, what do I do?
How do I wake my spirit cold? We always say when our history's told, if only we knew the things we know.
Hey guys, it's Nicole. I just wanted to do a little talking video with you guys about my nursing class. So if anybody is interested in nursing or is going to some sort of nursing program or just interested in general, I just wanted to give a few tips and things of what I do in my regular day-to-day basis. So yeah, reminder again, I am a senior in high school, so I am not in a accredited college program yet. I should be in one in the fall, depending on which college I choose, but right now this is a ROP class, so it's a regional occupational program, which basically prepares students for different careers. So my high school has one for auto shop, for sports medicine, for computer design, culinary. There's pretty much one for every basic career. And it'll set you up with internships at different sites and teach you kind of the basics just to give you an introduction on the career itself. That way you can choose whether or not this is a career you want to do. So I am in the nursing ROP class this year, and our internship site is Stanford Valley Care. It was just Valley Care, but then Stanford took it over, so it's kind of cool because on our resumes we get to put that we interned at Stanford pretty much. So that gives us definitely a leg up, and that's pretty much the main basis of this video, and the main point I'm going to say is when you do these programs, they give you such a leg up for when you apply to other programs, especially because in nursing, it's all about where you do your internship and where you do your clinicals, because they're going to be the ones who hire you next, and they're going to be the ones that other places look to see where you've worked and where you've trained. So my first department was in 1 West, which is the first floor of Stanford Valley Care, and it's basically the med-surg floor. All 3 floors in Valley Care are med-surg technically, but we have the most number of post-op or post-operational patients. The other 2 floors are more for medically ill patients. So we have almost entirely post-operational patients, and then we have a few just sick patients. So I'll just walk you through day-to-day basis what I do every day, because I'm there 4 days a week. We are in the classroom on Wednesdays to kind of go over our week and ask any questions, and sometimes we'll do terminology tests and make posters on different diseases. So I'm in the hospital 4 days a week, so I'll give you kind of a rundown on what my daily routine is. So my shift starts at 1 o'clock. So basically I go to periods 1 through 4 at my high school, and then as soon as the lunch bell rings, I drive home and I eat lunch with my family, change, get ready, and then I head to the hospital, and I'm at the hospital until 2:30. I meet my partner, and we walk in and we say hi to everybody just to let them know that we're there, because you have to remember, the people we're working with are at their job, they're working, so we're kind of very secondary to them, and to be honest, sometimes they forget that we're supposed to come in. It's kind of funny, the first day, they didn't even know that we were showing up. So it's kind of interesting. You just have to be aware that they are working, and it's a privilege for you to be able to follow them around every day, and you kind of just have to be aware of that. So the first thing we do is restock gloves and goggles in all patient rooms. Just a basic, make sure everything's restocked. And then we talk to the unit secretaries, who are the ladies by the computer who kind of manage where all the patients are and who's working and what nurses have which patient. They're kind of like dispatch, in my own words. So we ask them if they need anything, and pretty much the only thing they've ever given to us is, can you file these papers and some of the charts, which are where all of the patient information is. It's these huge like gray charts, and there's one for every patient room. And so we'll file some paperwork for them, and then we'll ask the CNAs if they have any vitals to be charted. And so basically there's 8 a.m. vitals and noon vitals that we have to record in every individual patient's chart. And then there's the 4 o'clock vitals, which the shift after us then takes those vitals. So we end up recording while the second shift takes the vitals, if that makes sense. Because they have them at set times. But we get lucky because we are the first floor, and because we are mainly post-operation patients, we get to take frequent vitals. So when we have post-operational patients, every hour, every 45 minutes, sometimes every half hour, we have to go in, take their vitals, record them, and then we move on to the next patient. So that's the cool thing about this internship, is we're basically working as CNAs 4 days a week. All the jobs that we do are the jobs that CNAs normally do, and the CNAs are who we follow during their shift. Because the nurses are kind of doing their own thing. Sometimes they'll have something for you to do, and most of the time they'll come to you if they have something, because we can't do anything invasive. I've helped rotate patients, move patients, as well as clean patients, but we're not allowed to do any other invasive procedures. And on the first floor, it's mainly patients who are coming in from surgery, spending the night, and going home the next day. So unlike the other 2 floors, we don't have a lot of direct patient care to be done because they don't require any needs. Like, they don't require cleaning or bathing or, feeding. Sometimes we have had to feed a patient once, but it's a majority of patients who are just recovering from surgery and going home ideally the next day. So some of the other kids in my class who are on the other floors, they get to do a bit more procedures, such as more of the cleaning of the patient, applying lotions and ointments and feeding. We've had to walk patients to the restroom and let them do their thing and then help them back in bed, but that was pretty much the extent of what we got to do, and it was just more of what our unit provided us. It was just, we're a very simple unit. We don't have a lot of patients that are there for a long time. So once we chart the CNA's vitals, we figure out if there's any frequents to be done and when, and then we mostly walk around, and if any nurses need anything, we jump on it. We'll discharge patients by wheeling them out in their wheelchairs to their cars. We check on patients to see if they need water or blankets or anything. We talk to a lot of the staff. We learned a lot by just listening to the conversations and how they interact with the doctors and the other nurses and the charge, and it's a lot of absorbing and listening into how their daily life is. At least for my department, it wasn't a lot of doing ourselves, which was fine because we learned so much by just listening and talking with the staff that it was definitely worth it. We are allowed to read some of the patient charts. We just go straight to transcribed notes, and we get the basics of diagnosis, history of present illness. We pretty much get the basic medical terms, and then as part of our class, we have to look them up and take some notes afterwards. So that was also another part of the thing, is in my class, we have to record a journal every day. So I have 54 journals from my 54 days on One West that it's actually going to be really cool looking back to be able to read. Basically cataloging everything I've done that day, so I can look back and see, oh, I got to do this, or I saw this, or here's my day here, kind of like a log for myself and as well for future jobs, because at the end of this class we make a portfolio where we put in resumes, we put in reviews from staff members, we put in our essays and our projects and pretty much everything we've done in the class. And then the goal is to take that portfolio and take it to any future job offers and interviews. And we've had a lot of alumni who take their portfolios to nursing program interviews, and it gives them such a leg up from the other applicants that almost 99% of the students who take this class end up getting into some sort of nursing program, which is phenomenal. And it also helps for the job interview afterwards, because they'll see, oh, you've already done this. Oh, and it also shows that you wanted to do this early, and it shows a drive and a determination, and kind of like showing that you've kept up with this goal of being in the medical field. So it's definitely an important part of the class, and it's something that when you take afterwards, it's going to help you along the way. So we're pretty much in one unit for 4 months, 4 days a week. So Friday the 3rd was my last day in One West, which was really sad, saying goodbye to everybody, because everybody is so sweet, and they just want to teach you and help you and show you how to do their job, and they're so open and welcoming. The thing that kind of sucks about this class is you do not get to choose your department. Your teacher evaluates how you learn and how you interact with the class, and obviously she takes your passions and your interests into regard, but she's the one who chose which departments we went into. So I did not choose One West. I'm so phenomenally grateful that I got One West, but there was this moment in time that was a little nerve-wracking between, okay, we're going to be leaving One West on February 3rd and going into your new department, of what department she thinks that I'm suitable for. And anybody who knows me, I've been dreaming of working in the emergency room for as long as I can remember, honestly. I'm such a high stress situation, adrenaline junkie almost. I'm not the hugest fan of blood, and I cannot do needles, but I love it. I don't know. I just love it. And so I was hoping I would get the emergency room afterwards, or critical care. I'd honestly take either, but I have no say in it. So to be honest, in the last 2 weeks of journals, I keep dropping hints of how exciting and how I really want to be in the ER. And I've been kind of dropping hints because your teacher reads the journals every few weeks just to make sure you're doing them. So I was kind of leaving her hints of what I wanted, just to kind of get her head moving in that direction, because she's supposed to stop by and kind of check on how you're doing every now and then, but to be honest, I think I saw my instructor twice in the 54 days I worked on One West. So I was worried that she really hadn't seen me working and she couldn't make a true decision on where I would be fit best. So I was really worried, but the universe wanted me to know that it was watching, and I got the emergency room, so I'm so happy. I start this Monday on the 6th in the emergency room at Stanford Valley Care for another 4 months, and I'm so excited. So I'm going to do another video on second department update, and maybe as well as just a class overview for any people who go to my school who might want to take the class. I'm not sure if other cities have this class, but I'm sure they have something. I mean, because I've heard of other ROP programs in different states, but just to kind of give my review of the class in general, so I'll do another video afterwards. But I just wanted to tell you guys about my class because I love my class, and this class has proven to me that this is the career I want to do. I mean, even though I wasn't in the department that I imagine myself working at, it was still seeing what a nurse's daily life was and daily work schedule was, and I'm like, let's do it. Let's just go now, skip the college, start working. So I'd say it was pretty successful changing my mind, because I was in the middle, backstory, I was in the middle of law enforcement and doing homicide and doing emergency medicine, and I was so in the middle, and so I joined my city's Police Explore program, and then I applied for this class hoping that one of the two kind of steers me in one direction, and I know that this is what I want to do. Like, and that's such a great feeling before college starts, because then you don't invest so much money in a major and then get halfway through or all the way through and figure out that this is not what I want to be doing. And so it saves so much time and money. I tell all of my friends and all of their younger siblings, take an ROP class. Like, even if you have no idea what you want to do, just pick one that might be interesting. If you leave high school without taking one, I honestly think that you're missing out on some seriously beneficial opportunities. So I tell all my brother's friends, all my friends' younger siblings, take an ROP class before you graduate. It is a time commitment. I have to drive myself to the internship. It's the last 2 periods of the day only. I leave my internship about the time school ends, so it doesn't take any time after school, but some other classes only take the last 2 periods, so you kind of have to pick and choose. But I'm telling you, please do yourself a favor and take an ROP class. Like, it's phenomenal, and it will definitely tell you whether you really want to do it or you do not want to do it. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox now, but I'm trying to figure out, did I leave anything out? I might do separate videos for just stories of shifts of mine during my time at the hospital, but I have to figure out what stories there are, because we were a very sleepy floor, to be honest, and I'm not downgrading it. I'm not saying I was bored to death. Like, we were just a very sleepy floor. We had a very high turnover rate. We didn't have any procedures that needed to be done on the floor. It was just people coming in from surgery, spending the night, and going home. We had a few medical patients, but they weren't in any sort of critical condition. So even then, the things that needed to be done for that patient, the nurse pretty much did. And that's the thing in this class as well. You have to take the initiative and ask for things and do things yourself, because the nurses aren't going to just come up to you and be like, hey, do you want to see me remove the central line? Hey, do you want to see me take the IV out? You have to go up to the nurse and be like, hey, can I observe you? Can I watch you? The only times we ever got to observe anything done was because I was eavesdropping and I heard the nurse say, oh, I need to move this patient, or I'm going to go take this out. And then literally I just grabbed my partner and we jump up from the table and be like, hey, can we watch, can we observe? That was the only way we could see things, is if we asked ourselves, because the staff don't come to you, because again, they're doing their job. They're kind of like, they got their own to-do list, and you're so secondary that if you want anything out of the program in the internship, you have to go get it. And this is going to be so apparent from what I've heard of the students who were in the emergency room for this semester. It's going to be entirely you just walking into rooms and observing and asking people and putting yourself in those situations, because everybody's going to be doing their own thing and they're not going to be aware that you're there to learn and see. So if you're going to take this program, and if you're considering nursing in general, it's a very independent, you need to be proactive and assertive career. You have to be able to step out of your comfort zone, because if you just stay in this bubble of, I don't need to see it, there's too many people in the room, I don't know if they want me there, then you're not going to see anything, and you're not going to get anything out of the program. You need to be able to step out and be like, I don't care if if it comes off as if I'm bothering this person by asking so much. You need to ask. So that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah. If I think of anything else, I'll probably include it in my department number 2 video, but if you have any questions at all, please leave it down in the comments. I would love to reply and explain some things to you and let you know how I thought of the program, and any and all questions you have, I would love to answer. I am so happy with this program, and it was honestly the best decision I've made in high school to take this class, because I wasn't sure if I could take it, because I'm also on the varsity softball team, and I was worried that the time commitments would interlock and I wouldn't be able to do one or the other. But it's all about just making the time and managing the time. You can do both. You're gonna have to be late to some things and miss a few different other extracurricular events, but this is your career. Like, this is getting you ready for your career, and I honestly think that trumps any and all extracurricular activities at this point, because once you're on that path, then you can take the time to go explore. But in my opinion, this is the time to figure out what makes you passionate, and I think that is such a higher priority than a lot of things. And it's just, you have to have the ability to pick and choose, because I'm not saying like I never go out and I never hang out with my friends. No, I definitely have free time, because this class gets me out when high school normally gets out, and there aren't any outside commitments on top of the 4 days internship. So it doesn't take a ton of my time. It makes me rush to softball games and softball events, but I make it there anyway, so it honestly doesn't take a huge amount of time schedule moving around, you know. So you just gotta really want it. Like, you gotta really want to figure out if this is what you want to do or not. So yeah, that's all I have. I just wanted to kind of spread my knowledge and share my stories from this class, because this is my last department coming up, and we just finished our first one. So I'll catch you guys up in the next nursing video. Like, subscribe, the whole deal, and I'll see you guys later.